it's that balance of being able to, do the hustle and take action and do what you need to do in line with being ready to receive what is aligned with you.
It's time to stop spinning your wheels, wasting time, money, and energy building your brand alone on social media. Hi, I'm Sophia Spallino, the host of Social Equity, the podcast, here to help you build your own profitable personal brand, the social equity you can rely on to make the money that you deserve. Are you ready, Miss Future Millionaire? Let's get into it. Today, I'm going to be sharing how Elle Embers built a coaching business that heals women so well. Elle is one of my clients. I'm just so freaking proud of her. I'm proud of her because her clients keep coming back for more, and getting clients is easy for Elle. Now today we're going to dig into how she does it, but first, let me pull the curtain back on Elle and who she is as a human. Elle Embers is a leading soul therapist and quantum energy healer and host of the Cosmic Curiosities Podcast. She's my client in the Profitable Personal Brand live coaching program where she is actively scaling her coaching business with unwavering commitment, truly, because I see her as her coach, unwavering commitment to guiding souls back to their innate magic and authenticity. Elle stands at the forefront of a profound paradigm shift in the realms of spiritual healing and in personal transformation. Through her intuitive gifts and mastery of energy work, Elle helps to clear blockages on a physical, mental, emotional, and energetic level, allowing her clients to realign with their highest state of balance and harmony. With Elle as your guide, you're invited to embark on a journey of profound self-discovery and empowerment. She does groundbreaking work in time exploration, which I love. I'm very into my past life regressions, and stick around, even if that's not your thing. But if it is your thing, geek out with us. She invites you to transcend on the limitations of linear time and step into the reality where infinite possibility awaits. You're going to unlock secrets of your soul when you work with her, unleash inner magic, reprogram your limiting beliefs, and manifest the life of your dreams, which I am all about as a business coach. And I believe manifesting the life of your dreams does take strategic action. So today we're going to have Elle on, and I'm so excited to have her here on. Oh, she is joining me at like 3 a.m. her time, which is such a blessing, and I don't take it lightly. Hello, beauty.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, you're bringing the energy at like 3 a.m. Is it 3 a.m. for you?
Yeah. But I'm here, and that's the main thing.
Trooper, you look fabulous. You look fabulous. I want to lead with, you're welcome. I want to lead with your story for anyone who doesn't know you. Tell us, just maybe even start with your childhood. Did you always have these gifts?
Yeah, so I think the earliest memory I have is about 4.
Okay.
And I had the imaginary friends sort of deal, but these imaginary friends were able to tell me things about my loved ones and past loved ones, and I just had information and knowledge that no one really knew. Like, how do you know that? Where did this come from?
Yeah. And were your parents weirded out? How did you know that it was different than everyone else?
Initially they were okay with it, but my parents were I did grow up Buddhist and Taoist.
Wow.
So they were kind of spiritual in a way, but it wasn't so much that they were weirded out by it, but it was more trying to protect me from the outside world and being hey, maybe don't tell this person about their dead grandma. That might be upsetting.
I'm sure it shocks people a lot. Wow. Okay. So at what point did you decide I'm going to do this for my work? Did you ever have a normal job? What did that look like, your journey to doing this as a business?
Yeah. I always worked in spaces where I was helping people. So I have worked in the health industry, and I have also worked in the beauty and wellness industry.
Okay.
So this was kind of like not a huge leap from, helping people in just a different way.
Yeah.
But growing up, I always had this concept or this feeling of deja vu. Like I had been here before, met this person before, experienced whatever it was before. And I just felt like I was born in the wrong time, in the wrong era.
Yes, I feel that sometimes.
So yeah, like this made me feel like I didn't belong here, and I went searching for answers, and it kind of piqued my interest in the concepts of time and timeline exploration, which led me to past life regression. And, I had my own transformational experiences before training in various different versions of past life regression, along with other modalities that I started kind of like Frankensteining together
I love
to
it.
make my own modality and framework.
Yes.
But yeah, it kind of like started as like a hobby, and I was helping people for fun and friends. But then when you kind of step into that world and it starts to expand, you don't have time for a normal 9 to 5 anymore.
No.
So it was just, making the leap and moving the way that it moved. Yeah.
I'm really proud of you. At what point did you feel, okay, if I don't move on my calling and make this my business, it's going to be uncomfortable? Like, at what point were you like, my side hustle is becoming my main hustle, and this is like overwhelming? And it's not supposed to be overwhelming. So I'm sure if you're doing two things at once, maybe there's people out there listening who feel tired, and they're in that moment of like, do I make that move over? What was that moment for you? How are you feeling?
It was very much a sink or swim. Like I started doing it on the side, and I was working as a hairdresser at the time. And yeah, I started, needing to take more time to focus on my side hustle and what I was doing at home. That yeah, I was kind of like pushed out of my role, but at the same time, I met my best friend and my somewhat business partner now, that she was like, hey, I'm in the beauty therapy and holistic wellness space, and I have a clinic, and I'm moving and I'm opening up and I'm incorporating energy healing and Reiki. Like, come work with me. Like, I'll give you a space to do what you want to do. And I was like, this is it. This is what we're doing.
This is your moment. I find whenever I'm ready to take the next leap, I love listening to Abraham Hicks. She's like, the stone appears beneath your foot. Like you don't look for it. You don't need to look down. You just keep taking the next right step and it will appear. And it sounds like that's what happened with your friend. That's weird. That just happened for one of my other clients, Amani, with the yoga studio. Like, she just moved studios and things just opened. And it's just so beautiful to see it all come together. When it's your purpose, things just happen. So I'm really, really proud of you for doing it. And for everyone listening who's never done past life regression before, can you share what that's like? Because I know in the religious background that I was brought up in, it was something that would have been absolutely taboo and awful. But at this point, I've done 4 regressions and I always learned so much about myself. And it feels like I've done the work of 10 therapy sessions every time I leave a past life regression, one of them. So can you tell us what that's like?
Yeah. I guess like because I'm in Australia and like where I'm kind of set up, Australia doesn't really have a huge religious culture.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
Ours is like Christian nationalism. It becomes, which I love all religions, but it becomes politics. It becomes forced, right?
Yeah. Like religion is very much optional. In Australia, it's not something that's kind of pushed or forced, but at the same time, people still have their own individual beliefs.
Yeah.
And, I work with clients all over the world. So it is something that I am aware of, but it's not really ever been a concern of mine. I do respect and of course like have a safe space for people to express their beliefs and have that without judgment and feel safe to do so. But
Oh
at the
yeah.
same time. It's never really kind of come up as
I
like
love
a
it.
taboo thing. But also, I think past life regression in some aspects can be viewed, yeah, as like a religious thing. Like, I don't believe in reincarnation necessarily, and this is, considered a sin or whatever the case may be. But a lot of it, I kind of come at from a more logical sense of
Yeah.
like, this is your brain and this is like accessing your subconscious memories. And whether this is from, you know, divine energy from God or whether it's from an actual past life, it's whatever you're meant to see and experience.
Yes.
Walking through timeline exploration in different ways, whether it's moving from the past to the present and to the future. Like I have clients that go and experience the future or experience alternative realities. So
Wow.
it's not just about the past.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, so I mean, standard past life regression is a hypnotic experience to unlock memories in your subconscious mind from previous incarnations. But that's not necessarily what I primarily focus on. Because as much as we can heal and learn from the past, we can also inspire and create change from moving into our future and seeing potential outcomes and potential different realities.
I love that because it's moving ahead. It's kind of like when people say, what's the difference between a therapist and a life coach? One's like working through the past, one's working through the future, and primarily, I mean, that's a broad generalization, but it sounds like you have a different practice that focuses on allowing to make space for the future. I freaking love that. So you mix so many things that you do, which is something that I want everyone to do who works with me, like taking everything they've learned, all their expertise, and then creating their own framework, their own program, their own marketing mantra that really encourages the client to lean into trusting them because it's like, oh, I've done this before. I can take you from here to there in your mindset or here to there in your body in this amount of time and through this modality, through this vehicle. And when you have studied so many different modalities, you're probably coming up with your own method. Do you have a name for it, or do you have a process you typically take clients through in one of your programs?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
Like it is such a customized and personalized experience because everyone is different and everyone has different needs and different goals.
Yeah.
They have different memories that they may need to revisit and they have different, I guess, yeah, goals that they want to work towards moving forward in the future.
Yeah.
So it kind of really varies on the person. Um, some people, some of my clients need some NLP work with their regression, or they need some theta healing to reprogram the limiting beliefs that they've brought forward with them from the
Mm,
past so that they can create the future that they want to create. Um, I've had at least 3 women with fertility issues come to me that have had issues falling pregnant, and they've tried IVF and they've tried holistic nutritional, like herbology stuff. Um, and nothing seems to like work for them. And there's no medical reason as to why they can't fall pregnant. But in experiencing a session with me, they realize they have trauma from the past, either around childbirth or losing a child, or potentially even losing a husband or a partner. So there's that fear of potentially in that era of, raising a child and not feeling protected or provided for. They didn't have the resources. So that's kind of, they've held on to that trauma.
yeah.
And in their lifetime, it stopped them from having a child. But, in working with me, all 3 of these women have now been able to fall pregnant naturally within weeks or months from their
This
session with
sounds,
me.
oh my God, I could cry. Wow. And this is not even like your niche. You should talk about this a lot. Wow, that is
Yeah.
beautiful. So it's really reprogramming your subconscious for the future and getting rid of the blocks from the past. Wow. So what program what did they come into, or what types of sessions did they come into with you
So
previous?
all 3 of them had had a relax and release. which is kind of like an intro into past life regression, because we do some timeline exploration, but we also do some theta healing and some Reiki. So
Okay.
we're kind of aligning your energy centers to embody the energy from different periods of time to kind of enhance your goals and enhance your dreams moving forward. And then they went and had full one-on-one regressions with me as well to kind of really dive into, you know, those experiences and release them and let go so that they can create a safe space for their body in this lifetime to fall pregnant and do what they want to do.
Wow, that is beautiful. It's just, I see so much struggle for women wanting to have babies, and there has to be something that's changed in our environment and our food in the last, and then obviously the mindsets because of the way we're programmed in hustle culture to like have fear, and there's all this financial stability that must be had first, and there's so many things at play. So that is incredible. Um, I know that there's a lot of spiritual coaches out there for anyone looking for the real deal. I know it's you because I see you behind the scenes. I see how you show up. And I'm really proud of you. And even before you came to me, I had a friend reach out and say, "Oh, Elle's going to be amazing to work with." And I only accept women in the program who I deeply believe in. And then also, I believe in what they're doing. Like they actually care. So it's amazing to see that you do. What do you think is the difference between, like, say, even if someone wasn't to work with you, which God, I hope they do, but if they're out there and they're comparing coaches, how do they know if someone's really has spiritual gifts from the divine and God, Jesus, source, universe, whatever, or if someone's just a complete fake? How does someone know?
I feel like the more that you're in touch with yourself and your intuition, the more that you're connected to, I guess, like your energetic frequency, you'll sense if someone else is on the same energetic frequency, whether
Yeah.
they are meaning what they're saying, there's truth in what they're saying, or whether it's just some sort of like ploy or, you know, gimmick to be like, yeah, I can do all the things.
Yes.
um, but I think, you know, it's something that you develop within yourself, that sense of trust and yeah, being able to, I guess, tune in into your bullshit detector.
Yes, yes. I love that. Bullshit detector is, and it's hard. It's so hard. I know there's a lot of, even in my industry, there's a lot of people who say, "Oh, I'm a business coach." And we're like, "Well, what have you built? Or what platform have you built? Like, please show me. Like, I want to see the proof." So, for your followers who are listening, I've been in this industry for 9 years, and that infuriates me when I see someone working with someone who didn't build a following or didn't build a business or don't have systems in place. It makes no sense to me. I'm like, why would you? Why? So I'm really glad whenever people get to be recommended. Like I know everyone in my program I could recommend. Oh, you need someone for nutrition, you need to talk to Stephanie. You need someone for past life regression, you need to talk to Elle. And I can say all of that with confidence. And it's a beautiful thing. I'm really proud of the purpose that you have in your heart and how many women you help. One thing that you've done really well since joining the Profitable Personal Brand Life Coaching Program is being able to ascend your clients again and again and again as repeat clients. And for those of you listening who are not sure what that means, it just means she's been able to acquire a client and then continue to get that client's business over and over. And that energy stacks. That's how you build a big business because you're able to bring in more clients. You're not having to go out there and look for new ones every day. And I mean, you do, but they still come in with so much more ease because you've got raving fans that not only stay and continue to pay you to work with you because they love the results, but they're also going to tell people because they are really excited about the transformations that they're having. So, what do you think is the thing you learned that helped you be able to get to that level of ascension that was just where it's easy for you?
Yeah. Like I used to be really kind of grossed out by like the sense of like trying to sell,
Yeah.
right? And like being in the spiritual community, it's kind of looked at like, you know, you're meant to be doing this for free, essentially, because you want to help people. But when you're doing something so much that takes up all of your time and you don't have the time for a normal 9 to 5,
Yeah.
you kind of have like something has to give. You
Yeah.
kind of have to like find a way to make this livable. And it's something that I really kind of stepped into or had a better understanding of when I started working with you, because it was like, I used to do a lot of just old school QHHT like regressions, and it was a lot for people to process. They'd
Yeah.
walk out of the session and be like, whoa, damn, like I'm gonna need like 3 months to just process what the fuck I just went
Yeah.
through. And you would know that like it can be intense depending on where you are in your journey. And this was something where I was like, shit, like, okay, how do I continue working with this person and helping them process and put this shit into place?
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to experience something, but then it's like, okay, like, what are you going to do with this knowledge now? So
Mm.
it was very much like coming into this understanding of like, hey, if I have an intro, which is like the relax and release, this gives you an intro into a taste of what past life regression is, and if you're ready to dive deeper. And some people book relax and releases over and over again before they dive into a past life regression. And that's okay, because they get so much out of it. And, I scaled my offer from there and was like, cool, like we do so much theta healing in a relax and release. Let's talk about the new neural pathways we're creating in your brain that help you align with your goals and align with decisions that are benefiting you in new and exciting ways.
Wow.
Because when it comes to brain training, like we can't delete your old programming or delete old pathways, but we can install new ones.
Wow.
And then it's a choice. So it's like, do you want to keep doing shit the old way? Or do you want to use the new way that you've realized is way more beneficial and way easier? So this kind of like led me to go, okay, like let's add a soul sync. This is to solidify the changes that you've created, the new neural pathways that you've installed, so that you can keep choosing these pathways with ease and things become easier. You can expand and grow and heal without really trying all too hard.
I love
So
it.
yeah, it's kind of just like rolled off each other. And then, even the way that I do past life regressions, I don't do shit the standard way that, you're trained to do.
Yeah.
It's I am working with what is most beneficial to this client, depending on what their needs are. And we scale from there. So a lot of my stuff is personalized. A lot of it can be customized. A lot of it can be combined. I've had clients combine relax and release and past life regression in the one session, and these people like are insane. Like I had clients actually fly into state to come and see me in person, because I do this all over the world. I do it over Zoom, but for them it was like important to do it here and to do it face to face, because they lived with flatmates and stuff and it wasn't private. But they just had the most amazing takeoff from that. Like they came together as friends, they left as a couple, and they are so in love with each other.
What?
And just all through this realization, through their relax and release of like, no, I do deserve love and I do deserve this relationship, and I'm going to go for it. I'm done with fear. I'm done holding myself back, and I'm done standing in my own way.
Wow.
And yeah,
That is beautiful. You've had people have babies, like it's just, yeah, magical. Because when all these pieces come into place and you get rid of the old things, even if you can't take it away, you reprogram on top of it. It's just so many miracles can happen when we make the space for them. And I believe that as people listen to this, we're recording it on May 8th. I'm not sure when the podcast is going to go out. But I really feel in my gut, like this miracle season, I'm about to step into it. I know people who are in my world you're riding on the same vibes. Like we're on that same frequency, and something is about to just like blast off on another level. But in a which is interesting for what you've been sharing in the name of your program, but in a relaxed way, in a peaceful way. Like the hustle is dead, the freedom codes are here, they're out. There's just a better way. And it's this blend of taking action and finding that peace within. And sometimes you can't even take the action until you first go and work and do the work the way people are doing it with you before they can change anything else in their life. So if you're listening and you're like, I'm feeling stuck, I want to grow my business. Maybe I came here to listen to Sophia's business, but you're feeling stuck. Maybe it would benefit you to first work with Elle before you begin taking action on your business so you can have those places unstuck. One thing that you said that was really interesting is as you're scaling your business, scaling your offers, you really started by giving the people what they needed and seeing exactly what they needed for that transformation to happen. And now you're able to, customize it or scale that same offer into something more. I love it. And I love that it started that way with the people in mind. And that's how we built PPB
Yeah.
in beta. Yeah, it was like literally launching a program, had people come in at a discounted rate, and was like, hey, we're going to shape this program around you and your needs. And I built a 5-phase program based off of every single step it takes to build your brand. And it was based on those live coaching calls where I could see where were the gaps, where was the gaps.
And that was
So if you're
so helpful to be a part of, by the way, like just coming into that, it was like, I think that's kind of that's kind of where I think we connected the most, was because we were both drawn to like what's missing, like what is this industry missing, what are my clients missing. And like when we got together in that way, I was like, damn, all right, like she can see what we need. Like she can see like where we're stuck. And I think that just subconsciously in myself opened up this awareness even more to like, okay, like, yeah, I'm looking at what my clients need and scaling my offers to that, but also adding that personalization and that combination and customization specifically for them. Like that is what was triggered in me from working with you, because that's what you were doing for us.
Oh, that makes my heart so happy. It's so wild how I get put together the whole program, and the program can be so helpful, and the knowledge and the actions and the exact steps. But sometimes it's being in a container where you're watching someone lead that inspires more than just the action steps. And believe me, I'm all about the action steps. I'm not just about the energy of like think and grow rich. Like there is that, but there's the action that has to be there. And there's this in between the action and then the pure energy. And that's where you are watching someone who's embodied in it do the thing. And then you're like, oh, like I see it so clearly embodied in her and the truth in her. So it like actually is proof that I can do that too. And that's all we ever need to get to where we want to be. So I'm glad that I got to be that for you and continue to get to be that for you. For anyone interested in joining the same program that Elle has been in to grow her business, DM me PPB on Instagram, and I'd love to talk to you about it. I'm so proud of what you've been able to accomplish. How long have you been inside since beta? It's been a while.
I'm like, I don't know.
I feel like you joined in like October or something.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was like the end of last year. Yeah, like late last year coming into 2024. Yeah.
I love that this program, like I know it's going to be something that people are like, oh, because the industry is always changing, and just like your clients, it's like, okay, well, what's the next thing? What's the next goal? What's the next level of freedom of mind? I'm like freedom of bank account, freedom of place you get to be, but you're helping people reach that freedom of mind, and there's always going to be those new levels to unlock.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. And that's something that like continues to like blow my mind every day, is like people coming into this, embodiment of their highest selves and their highest timelines. But then what they go and do with that, like I do have clients that have businesses that have been able to expand and scale on their business because they go and work with people like you after they've worked with people like me, that they're in a state willing to learn, willing to embody, willing to make change and not stand in their own way anymore. And I think that's the biggest thing is so often we're like, yeah, I want better, but what am I doing to make it better? I don't know. Like, it seems like a lot of effort.
And like,
You know,
let's be honest, it's we're not saying that like healing for you is easy, but like you make that process easier for people.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And I'm never going to tell someone that building a huge business and scaling something that's real, not just like a little pie in the sky business, but really scaling it. I'm never going to lie and tell someone that's easy, but guess what? It will be easier
yeah,
if we work together. So that
absolutely.
that is the vibe. And you're so right. Before you ever come to somebody like me to build your business, make sure your mindset's right. You might have to go talk to Al. You might have to get some things straight. The only thing straight though, because you know most of my clients are gay. The only thing you got to get straight is your mindset.
Right, right, right. The rest is fine. The rest is fine. It's just the head.
This is that. You are one of my few ally clients. We've got, I think, 85% queer in the program. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Which always like, you know, I'm always like, I get in there and every time I see you, I'm like, damn, this bitch is hot.
you're straight though, right?
Right? Well, I dated girls in high school, but that was like the most I ever like went to. I'm married to a man. And
Okay, okay.
so it's like, you know, but every time I'm like, damn, you know, I mean, if I wasn't married, there's a chance. There's a chance. Everyone in the program, you look at them and you're just like, these people are fucking amazing.
They all
Like, they are
are.
so beautiful inside and out. And you're just like, damn, the queer community has some fucking legends.
Yes, it's like it's being in the energy of women who are just all going against the grain. We're like, what do we want next? Let's freaking go. And it's possible
Right.
for anybody. There's people who come in and have never built a business and they're chilling. There's people like you who have come in and they were like in that beginnings stage and they're like, I'm already posting on social media. I just want to post more effectively and have those systems in place. And it's been working. One thing for you too that's been really, really good is just leaning into referrals and testimonials. That was something that you really hadn't tapped into as deeply until me. And it's now you're like social proof all the time. And it works, right?
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, I used to be like so scared to like even ask for that stuff. I'd be like, oh yeah, like, can you please tell me like how that experience was in writing? Like, and it was just like, I just felt so awkward about asking for it because, you know, being a service provider, you want to provide and it feels strange to ask for something in return. But at the same time, you're like, you had such an incredible
Yeah,
experience. And if you had such an incredible experience and you want your friends to have an incredible experience and you want other people to get on this vibe, like share your experience so that I can show other people that this is possible for them. So it
absolutely.
was 100%
It's so
your influence on that.
good. Yeah, we provide plug and make money templates that make it a lot easier too. So you can get into the vibe of like, oh, I just plug in my business's information. I can ask for this testimonial from a client because there's a difference between someone sending a super authentic text. That's awesome. You could screenshot it. Or someone where you're like, hey, can you write a testimonial? And they write something that's like feels so contrived and doesn't feel good. It's just like, oh, but it's not their fault. They're trying, they just don't know. And
Yeah.
so I created a template that you provide your client that actually gets them to tell their story in a way that could go viral for you. And it has for some of my clients. And it's telling the story in a way that actually sells for you so your clients can be your biggest advocates. So if anyone's listening and they're like, oh, I want that, whether you need to get a client to send in a video for you or you need to get a client to send in a text-based one, just DM me the word testimonial and I'll get that out to you. It's a piece of the PPB program, but I'm happy to share it for 100% free because I know it can be the deal breaker for people seeing you say, oh, I'm good at this thing, versus them going, oh, I know she's good at this thing and can help me because I saw her help someone else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
It's a deal breaker. And it's weird. Also, another thing that you were saying earlier about the transition from spirituality side hustle to full hustle is like, it's weird to be a spiritual person and expect to get paid for your work. But
Yeah,
it's not weird because you're doing the most important work in the world. It just feels weird at first. And so
yeah,
overcoming that and like getting comfortable with sales is something you've been able to do after being in the program for so long, because you're around the energy of people who are doing it and doing it with integrity and doing it well. So anyone who's listening, who they're like, I'm building a business, but I feel like I'm not selling enough because I know I'm not selling, you're sharing. And it's so important to be comfortable with sharing. And I've been able to watch you blossom into this woman who went from, oh, selling feels so icky and like kind of shrinking down, to selling feels like sharing. It's giving. And the more we give, the more we get, especially as online entrepreneurs who are creating content.
absolutely. And I mean, like, that's something like, can I ask, like,
Yeah.
when you, because like you're obviously like a really spiritual person. So like when you stepped into, I guess, like charging for services and stuff, like how did that sit with you?
That's a great question. So it took me actually having a coach. I had a wealth coach give me a consultation, Meryl Kriegsman, and she is all about redistributing wealth into the hands of women. We're going to do
Right.
good things with it. Yeah, she's very, very powerful marketing. I had her on my podcast, and then we had our consultation, and she just looked at me one day. It was like, Sophia, you're not charging enough. And it was back when I was not doing this as my business. I had just left Robbie and I was still doing dating coaching. But after leaving him, my relationships with women, like, that was not healthy for me to be relationship coaching, because I was able to coach for women with men, or at least I thought I was, because to me I was able to separate it so much. I was never attracted. I'd be like, we'll get over this broken heart real quick, and like help move them through it. I had frameworks for it, and hey, it worked for a lot of people. And coaching was great. I didn't advertise too much. I didn't need a lot of money. I worked for my partner. That was my thing. So I wasn't worried about what I was bringing into my coaching business. So my prices were just an afterthought, whatever, like shoe money. And
Yeah.
I talked to her like 2 weeks after leaving him, because I left him, my home, my car, the businesses I built with him, gave back the equity, everything. And just, I started broke. Like, I had less than $10,000 in my bank account and started with nothing. And I was really scared. And I had this consultation with Meryl Kriegsman, scared. And she was like, you need to charge more. You need to charge for this. You've been in this industry for 9 years. Why aren't you doing this thing? And it was just this click moment. And then from there, I ended up getting into another container. And then I ended up in another container. And I just kept growing that mindset. So my skill set is social media strategy, that like I've done for years. I've had a social media agency that I've scaled as well. And then I pivoted into business coaching after I felt like I mastered the full thing beyond social media strategy, but the business, the sales psychology, and the frameworks to have a real sales process that works. So that is what I teach, but I wouldn't be able to do that without first having believed in myself. And so the difference that you're talking about, like, what was that difference? What was that moment, like that shift? It was having someone believe in me and looking at her and going, oh, you're not what rich people look like. Like, she's very much like a homemaker, lives in the meadows, and has millions and millions of dollars. And it was the first time I really identified with someone who like had a lot of money, and I saw live in integrity and what she was teaching. And I was like, oh, if she can do this, then I can do this. And so it's
Yeah.
just that click. And I think that happens, it could happen from someone watching my content where they're like, oh, this is my moment. I got to get on a strategy call with Sophia, and they DM me PPB. And I'm sure for you, people will have that moment too when they see your content and they go, wait, this is unhealed. And like, I'm not going to be able to get to where I want to be without first uprooting this thing and then replanting some new flowers here. But I think everyone has those moments that are like their wake up calls, and it's like, oh, I don't have to be poor. or,
Yeah.
oh, I don't have to live my life this way. Or maybe you're making a lot, but you're like, oh, I could like really scale to multi six figures. Like this is possible. They don't know until they see it. And that's why it's so important as service providers that we lead. Like you can't have this unspiritual life and then help people the way you do, right? Like
No.
the energy is there. Yeah. So it's all about living in integrity. And as service providers, especially those of us online, we're selling who we are. You're investing in having our energy, what we've worked for in your lives. And it's taking us what? How many years of your life to get to where you're at?
30.
30. So they come in and they pay for an hour or whatever it is, 2 hours of relax and release, but they're really paying for 30 years of this experience. So you could take them through that metamorphosis in an hour or in a month or whatever the program is.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what we're selling, and that can only come from an embodied individual. So I'm just so happy to have your energy in the program. I believe in you. I'm so excited to see where you go. Can you tell us where you're going in the future? What is the next steps for your business? Does this look like in-person things more? Does this look like new offers? What does it look like for you?
Yeah. Well, currently I am in the editing phase of a collaborative book. So that will be coming out sometime in 2024.
So excited.
Um, so yeah, I'm going to be expanding and growing with in person, but also online and all over the world. I'm getting involved in more and more podcasts and getting out there and getting these conversations to be more common, and working on my mindset and reprogramming limiting beliefs and installing new neural pathways, and healing the past to transform your present and create your future. So it's something that is constantly changing, constantly evolving, and because my clients' needs constantly change and evolve, I feel like it's always going to be expanding. It's always going to be offers and programs, and everything's always going to be evolving and expanding. But, there's something that you said as well there about like seeing someone else be able to do something. It's like, even coming into what I do now, I had to reprogram a lot of my limiting beliefs and a lot of my doubts and fears around, even my worth, like, you being able to charge more and more for your services to be able to have greater access to more and more people so that you can hire a team to do what you do
Yeah.
is incredible. And that's a lot of self-worth work and programming that you would have had to go through. And that's something that I've had to go through as well for myself, to be able to step in and be in a point where I can take what you do and what you say and take it off that pedestal and make it achievable for me. So thank
Yeah.
you for like the work that you've done to provide that for me, and be that encouragement and that inspiration. But yeah, it's constantly evolving, constantly growing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, and I'm honored that I can be that for you and everyone in PPB. It's crazy. If someone would have told me, Sophia, you will have a whole business set up, a whole team 3 years ago, and this is how it works, and you wake up and you make content and you serve your clients and that's it. Like I'd be like, what? Like what? So yeah, it's a crazy life, but I got here because of taking those actions and put those things in place. And you're right, you cannot put those things in place unless you have high self-worth. I remember when people would say, well, just hire someone for that. My
Mm.
body felt so uncomfortable. Like I would be like, but that's impossible because there's not enough revenue. And what I learned is we can't really even support ourselves unless we invest in ourselves. Like we just can't. Whether that's your coach or that's your graphic designer, whatever it is that you know in your heart listening to this, what you need to invest in next to get to your next level. It's inevitable. Even this week, I got a new CPA. Excuse me.
Mm.
So like normally, not normally, in the past, I would have been like, oh my God, I need to hire someone else. Like, oh, I have to make this change. What if it costs more? I did not care. I was like, okay. At the end of the meeting, I was like, you're hired. By the way, what do you charge? Like, it's just like, it's normal. It's just normal. And there was a time where I would have never even stepped into a meeting with someone without knowing what they charged first. And now it's like, okay, I see someone, I know they do good work. I can just be like, okay, it is what it is. Like, I'll sign the check.
Yeah.
It's a crazy different energy, but the way to get to that place is to be in the energy of other people who are in that place. Otherwise, it's impossible. I know, and this is so off topic, but when I was leaving my ex-husband, if I would have stayed in like my grandmother's neighborhood and not moved to the wealthy neighborhood that I wanted to be in and manifest in and being in now, I would have never made it. I would have stayed in that very dangerous area for probably ever and never saw past what I could do. Cause it was like, oh, baby, you can't afford that. Like, I know you left him, like, go get food stamps. That's what we have in America when you need the supplement or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with it. But like, I said no. And I should talk about this more. There's like a card you can get that helps you pay for food from the government. I was approved and it came in the mail and I remember getting it. And I was like, I don't want this spoken over me. I don't want this being mine. When I saw my name on that card or my number, whatever it was, something in my body was like, no, like you can't accept this reality. And I chopped it up. After I'd done the work to apply for it, I took scissors and I chopped it up because I was like, this is not for me. I will struggle for this moment, but that's okay because I know something's good's coming and I'm taking action. And I made it. We're here. So I'm so glad I chopped up that card that day. And I'm sure like energetically, are there things you do with clients that like, you're just like, hey, this is the moment we're chopping this? Like, do you have those moments?
Yes. Yes. There's been
crying?
so many times where like I've wanted to throw in the towel and be like, oh, I need a normal 9 to 5 to like, because I have 3 kids and I'm married and I have responsibilities.
I know that.
But it's been like, no, I've got this. Like I'm gonna make it work and I'm gonna find a way. And I balance that energy from like the feminine, I'm ready to receive and I'm ready to go with the flow, to that masculine, like hustle, I need to make the actions, I need to take action, I need to do the thing. Yeah. And both are needed and both are valued. And like it's that balance of being able to do the hustle and take action and do what you need to do in line with being ready to receive what is aligned with you. So
yeah, that's all this is all day long is balancing masculine and feminine so you don't get burnout and so you can really enjoy your life and build that freedom. Well, if someone's like, I want to work with Elle, I know I need to work with Elle, I'm positive, how do they reach out to you?
Yeah, you can send me a message on Instagram or you can visit my website. It's elleembers.com. Really simple, but yeah, I'm happy to chat and reach out anytime.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're listening and you're like, okay, I want to be in the same magical program that Elle is in, that's the Profitable Personal Brand Live Coaching Program, where I teach you live, plus you get access to an entire course that will change your life. And there is ongoing support. It's like nothing else in my industry because it's not just, oh, you have one live coaching call a month. It is one every other week plus support in between those calls. So if you're interested, DM me PPB and we can talk about it. I'll even be happy to send you a free training just to assess where you're at and see where there's holes in your business, whether that's your content or your sales process, and see how I can help you get to that next level. Because I know that's what I needed. And now that we're here, I want to share it in a really accessible way for everyone. Well, thank you for being on Social Equity, Elle. I will see you in PPB.
Thanks so much for having me. Chat soon.
Bye. Congratulations for listening to another episode of the Social Equity Podcast. Every moment you invest in building your brand is contributing to your social equity. If you're an exhausted coach or service provider or you're just getting started building your brand from scratch, I can't wait to give you the first steps to go from 0 to 5K months and advance to 10 to 20K months. But why should you take my word for it? Well, I've spent over 9 years in the industry, amassing over 350,000 followers across platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as hosting a top charting podcast, building a successful service provider business, and coaching powerful women to build purposeful, profitable personal brands. So yeah, you should lean in and listen to the social media secrets, sales tips, marketing strategies, and mindset hacks I share. I want to help you build your dream business that makes real money, leveraging the power of a personal brand on social media. Because you're ready to quit wasting time on content that isn't working and start bringing in the money you deserve as a purpose-led coach or service provider, sharing your gifts with the world. So for a limited time, I'm giving away your first steps to go from 0 to 5K months and advance to 10K to 20K months. Grab my newly revamped Profitable Personal Brand Blueprint, the proven framework to build yourself a personal brand that motivates, inspires, and sells so that your business can thrive the way it should. Just go to the link in the show notes. To ask me questions in real time, join me on Instagram Live for the live podcast show. The schedule is always posted on my profile. My handle is @Sophia Spallino. And if you're tired of posting without a reliable strategy and posting without maximal profit, just like many of my clients were before, then you want to join the Profitable Personal Brand 6-month coaching program. Many of you asked how you can get me to coach you on building a profitable personal brand like the one I have. That's why I designed this coaching program, so you could have me coach you, guide you, and mentor you. This is for female coaches, service providers, and entrepreneurs who want to be known for purposeful work and build an extremely profitable personal brand on social media without wasting time. Whether you're a novice at creating or you're feeling stuck hitting a plateau in business that once had consistent revenue and need guidance, support, and coaching to get to your next level, book a strategy call to speak with either me or my team to see if we'd be the right fit to work with each other inside of the Profitable Personal Brand 6-month coaching program. Mind you, I am very selective and this coaching program is not for everyone because I'm only taking on serious, purpose-driven, and committed soul sisters inside of my community. If that's you, book your free strategy call now. The link is in the show notes. And if you feel yourself come alive and get excited to take radical responsibility for building your social equity, your personal brand that no one can take from you, leave a 5-star rating with a kind review wherever you listen to podcasts. And be sure to share the show with a powerful woman you know. And remember, with a positive mindset and a profitable personal brand, all things are possible. So go get up and go get what you want.